My phone lit up the dark bedroom like a siren at 2:17 a.m. The vibration rattling against the nightstand. Pearl's name flashed across the screen with 3 simple words that stopped my heart mid-beat: I can't anymore. Bridge. Rain hammered the window in sheets. The kind that turns Portland streets into black mirrors. And I was already yanking on jeans and a hoodie before my brain caught up. The group chat kept buzzing: Mia, Jess. All of them typing in all caps, "Do not go." But my keys were in my hand and my pulse was louder than the storm. Some secrets don't let you stay in bed. I never planned to fall for her. 3 months earlier, the Sunday potluck at Mia's felt like every other safe loud gathering our queer women's circle had thrown for years. String lights dripped warm gold across the tiny apartment. Garlic bread sent thick in the air. Laughter bouncing off exposed brick. I was in the kitchen chopping tomatoes when the door opened and she stepped in. Shaking rain from her dark waves, denim jacket clinging to her shoulders. Hi. Just got here from Chicago. Her voice carried that soft Midwestern roll. Tentative but warm. Our eyes locked for half a second longer than normal. My knife paused mid-slice. God. Feel smaller. The group folded her in with hugs and wine. But later, Mia cornered me by the sink. Soap suds dripped from her fingers as she whispered, "Ruby. Be careful." I laughed under my breath, bubbles popping between us. Layers? We all do. Mia didn't smile back. Just listen to me on this one. I wiped my hands on a dish towel that smelled like lavender detergent and told myself it was nothing. Warnings were part of the circle's love language. We protected each other. Book club the following week at the corner cafe smelled like fresh espresso and old paperbacks. Pearl slid onto the worn leather couch right beside me, her knee brushing mine as she crossed her legs. The contact lingered. She leaned close to point at a passage in the novel, her vanilla scent cutting through the coffee steam. "This part feels like it's about me," she murmured, breath warm against my ear. I swallowed hard. Across the table Jess raised an eyebrow but said nothing. I spent the rest of the meeting hyper-aware of every shift in her posture. The way her fingers traced the page like she was memorizing it. Forest Park hike the weekend after that. Mud sucking at our boots. Pine needles sharp underfoot. The air tasted clean and cold. Pearl stumbled on a root near the overlook. I caught her elbow, steadying her. Her hand stayed on my forearm a beat longer than necessary. Warmth seeping through my rain shell. "Thanks," she said, voice almost lost in the wind. We lagged behind the others on the descent, boots crunching in rhythm. "You ever feel like you're still running even when you're standing still?" she asked. I nodded, throat tight. "Every damn day since I came out." She didn't reply, but her shoulder bumped mine gently, deliberate. Movie night at Taylor's was the first time the tension really coiled. Horror flick, lights low, popcorn bowl balanced between us on the couch. Our knees touched again under the blanket. Neither of us moved. I could hear her breathing change, shallower, quicker, every time the screen flashed. Halfway through she shifted, her thigh pressing firmer against mine. My skin burned under the denim. When the credits rolled and the group stretched, Pearl's eyes found mine in the dim lamplight. She looked away first, but the air between us had changed. We started texting more. Late-night messages that turned into phone calls where her voice got softer. almost fragile. One Tuesday we met for coffee alone, first time without the buffer of the group. The shop windows were fogged, rain streaking the glass like tears. Pearl stirred her latte slowly, watching the foam dissolve. "They talk about me, don't they?" she asked. Cup warm between my palms. "They worry you're guarded." She let out a small sigh that made my chest ache. "They're not wrong. Ruby, it feels different." I wanted to reach across the table. I didn't. Not yet. Helping her move into the studio apartment a few days later. Boxes stacked high with books and one faded photograph she tucked away too quickly. "Old life," she muttered. Our hands met on the same box, the brief contact sent sparks up my arm. The place smelled like fresh linen and that same vanilla. We sat on the floor afterward sharing cheap Thai takeout. Chopsticks clicking. City lights flickering through half-open blinds. She told me about Chicago winters that froze your bones. I told her about the family dinner where I came out and my dad left the table without a word. The silence after felt comfortable, heavy with understanding. Group dinner the next Friday, Mia's again. Pearl laughed at one of my dumb jokes, bright, real, and the sound filled the room like wind chimes in a breeze. But Mia's jaw tightened across the table. Later in the hallway she grabbed my wrist. "Ruby. Back off." I pulled away gently. "What half?" She just shook her head. I sad. I went home that night replaying the warning. Yet all I could think about was the way Pearl's laugh had made the whole room brighter. The pull kept growing in tiny increments. A late-night walk after a group gathering. Streetlights reflecting off wet pavement. Her shoulder brushed mine with every step. Another coffee run where she paid for both of us without asking. Fingers lingering when she handed me the cup. Each time the micro-tension ratcheted higher. A slow burn that left me breathless in the quiet moments alone. Then came the night everything tipped. I'd had the worst day at my graphic design job, clients screaming, deadlines collapsing. I showed up at her door soaked, hair plastered to my forehead. She didn't ask questions. Just pulled me inside and wrapped me in a blanket that smelled exactly like her. We sat on the couch for hours, city hum faint outside. "You make the noise stop," she whispered eventually, voice cracking. The air thickened. I reached for her hand, she let me take it. Our faces drifted closer until her lips met mine, soft at first, then urgent. Tasting faintly of salt and the coffee we'd shared earlier. Rain drummed on the roof like applause. When we pulled apart, foreheads still touching, she breathed, "I want to try." That kiss unlocked something. Touches became intentional after that. Fingers tracing my arm during group walks. Her head resting on my shoulder on the couch during late movies. We spent quiet evenings cooking in her tiny kitchen. The sizzle of garlic in the pan mixing with our low laughter. She opened up in fragments, loneliness in Chicago. The weight she carried without naming it. I shared the nights I still questioned if I belonged anywhere. The connection felt soul deep. Like we were learning each other's languages without a translator. The coast trip was supposed to be the whole group. But everyone bailed last minute. Just us on the windy beach. Salt spray stinging our faces. Waves crashing in steady rhythm. We walked hand in hand, boots sinking into wet sand. She stopped suddenly, turned, and pulled me close. The second kiss was deeper. Bodies pressed together under the gray sky. Her heartbeat thudding against mine. "Ruby," she murmured into my neck. "I think I'm falling." I was already gone. Back in the city, the physical side unfolded slowly. Naturally. One stormy evening after I showed up at her place again. Clothes came off in layers between soft laughs and quieter sighs. Her skin was warm against the chill of the room. Hands gentle but sure. It wasn't just bodies, it was trust being built in every breath. Every pause where our eyes met and held. Afterward we lay tangled. Rain tapping the window. Her fingers drawing lazy circles on my back. For the first time in years I felt completely seen. But the group's warnings never stopped whispering in the background. A pointed text from Jess, "Her things are getting serious. Think twice." I deleted it. Pearl noticed my distraction one night and asked softly, "They're protecting you from me?" I shrugged it off. The secret shattered everything on a random Sunday brunch at the diner. I was coming back from the restroom when I heard them, "Mia." "Jess." Voices low but urgent. "We can't keep this from Ruby forever," Jess hissed. "Pearl's got a kid. And an ex-husband still fighting for custody in Chicago." My stomach dropped like a stone. "She asked us to wait until she was sure about Ruby," Mia added. "But this is getting real." I stood frozen in the hallway. The clatter of plates suddenly deafening. A kid. The whole group had known. The faded photo in the moving box clicked into place. I drove straight to her apartment. Heart hammering louder than the rain on the roof. The vanilla scent now felt like a lie. "Why didn't you tell me?" My voice broke the second she opened the door. Pearl's face went pale. Eyes wide with panic. "Ruby, I was going to. I swear." The marriage was dead years before I accepted who I am. "But Tommy, he's 4. His dad is making custody hell." Tears slipped down her cheeks. The group promised to keep it quiet until I was ready. They didn't want to scare you off. Betrayal burned hot in my chest. Everyone warned me because they knew about the baggage? And you let me fall anyway? She reached for me, I stepped back. "I don't trust anyone," I threw her own words back at her, bitter. The apartment suddenly felt too small. The rain outside too loud. The fight stretched into days of silence. I paced my own place, replaying every touch. Every sigh. My identity had always been built on freedom, queer joy without the straight world complications. No exes. No messy custody battles. I wanted something simple and fierce like the circle promised. But Pearl's eyes, her quiet strength, the way she'd made space for my scars, they haunted me. Doubt and longing twisted together until I couldn't sleep. She showed up at my door on the 4th night. Hair damp from the rain. Eyes red. "I choose this," she said. Voice steady despite the tremble. "Us. If you'll have us. It won't be perfect. The ex will keep fighting. The group will take time to heal. But I trust you enough to walk through the mess." I stood there in the doorway. City lights reflecting in the puddles behind her. And felt the choice settle heavy in my bones. walk away and keep my carefully built walls intact. Or step into the unknown with her and everything she carried. I chose her. It isn't a fairy tale. 3 weeks later I met Tommy on a video call, his giggle sounded just like hers. Small hands waving at the screen. Custody hearings are scheduled. The group apologized in awkward, tear-filled circles. Trust is rebuilding slowly. Like the city after a storm. Pearl and I still have nights where old fears surface, her sighs heavier. My questions slipping out uninvited. Some mornings I wake up wondering if everyone was right. But then she reaches for me across the pillow. Vanilla scent familiar and grounding. And I remember the bridge that night. The rain. Only honest thing left. Love isn't clean slates or perfect timing. It's standing in the downpour anyway. Knowing the secret was never the problem, the real risk was never trying. And as I pull her closer now, her heart beats steady against mine. I know every warning was worth ignoring.